Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Tuesday, November 7th, 2017 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is power is resonant with balanced perspective. And today we have Venus shifting into Scorpio. That shift will happen like 3:38 a.m. Pacific time. And I do think it's really important to have that good balance energy in place, that balance the yin and yang energy in place, that Libra energy, before really being able to dig into Scorpio energy. Now, Scorpio, Venus in Scorpio, I have Venus in Scorpio, so I'm very, very, very familiar with this energy. There is a strong level of intimacy that comes with Venus in Scorpio energy, and it can be like, you can see all that vulnerability, or nope, it's blocked. It's blockaded, protected. And I think all of us, some level or another, find ourselves in between those energies. Yes, you can have it all. Nope, it's on lockdown, it's blocked off. Now, what was so interesting as I was sitting here thinking about the energy of Venus and Scorpio and what our highest goal, what our highest aim will be with this, is that I realize, it is so important when it comes to the energy of intimacy, when it comes to vulnerability, to have strong energy that's got your back. Now, I'm not talking necessarily in a partner. I'm really talking about in yourself, really having your yang energy, your place where you know that you can take action on that desire, that place in you that knows that you can take action if it comes to a place where you need to protect, defend your vulnerability, where you need to stand up for yourself. So I think that's one thing that we really need to look at. Now, what I love is that Venus, while Venus will make this transit through Scorpio, Mars is hanging tough in Libra. So Mars is working on that yang side, that yang balance in the whole yin energy. So Mars is holding this firm position that's got our back as we take Venus through the depths of vulnerability, as we take Venus deep into her potential for intimacy. So I think that's really beautiful. This transit will be about 3.5 weeks. Venus will shift into Sagittarius as of December 1st. So, we have a short amount of time to really dig in with this energy, but I think that needs to be our focus. Like, again, not so much about with somebody else. Venus is balance, it's partnership, it's relationship, but it always starts with the relationship we have with ourselves. So, really allowing ourselves intimacy when it comes to our relationship that we do have with ourselves. Are we being true with ourselves? Are we being vulnerable with ourselves? Are we connecting to our desires? Scorpio is deeply connected to the energy of desire. Are you allowing yourself these desires, or have you locked them away because you have those thoughts like, this will never happen for me, this won't work for me? We have to remember the wisdom of Mercury in Sagittarius, that it's not enough to be a good person and to do all the things right. You do also have to take aim with your thoughts. You also have to believe that there are good things happening to you, for you, and coming for you. It's just not enough to be a good person. But meanwhile, have the thoughts, well, things just really don't work out for me no matter how good I am. It's not going to do it for you. It's not going to do it for you anytime. So we have to tune into our desires, allow those desires to evolve and come forth. Allow the desires, the dream, allow those dreams. We all have dreams and desires. We have to allow ourselves to be vulnerable enough to want them. We're afraid to be vulnerable to desire, to have hope, because, oh my God, the pain if it doesn't happen. And meanwhile, we're keeping ourselves in pain by not even allowing access to that energy of possibility and to the energy of like, hey, your desires are real and they're there for a reason. They're part of your soul. They're driving your soul forward on its path. The dream is important. It's important also to not get connected to details, but allow yourself to dream. That's part of vulnerability. And with, I was going to say yin in Scorpio, with Venus in Scorpio, that dreaming is a big part of your creativity that is going to allow this energy to be brought forth. So this is, I think, a big thing. So tune in, be willing to go there. I love to write it all down in my journal. Write it down, put it out there, work with it, work with yourself, work with those fears. And know that those fears can be transformed. Fears are often just connected to wounds, and all they need is that yin energy of nurturing. So this can be a really profound transit if you allow it to be. Now, of course, if you are partnered, this is also an opportunity to go there with your partnerships. But start there with yourself, because a lot of times we feel like we can't even go there in our partnerships because we haven't gone there with ourselves. So always starts here. All right, so besides that, we have the moon shifting into Cancer today. Wowza wada. We have, moon in Cancer. We've got all this energy in Scorpio, Venus, Jupiter, the sun hanging out in Scorpio, and then we have Pisces energy, the Chiron and Neptune hanging out in Pisces. So, Grand Trine water energy, intuition on point. That will help you in digging in. It will also help you in nurturing what needs to be nurtured and tended to and cared for within yourself. Moon in Cancer is so great at that. Again, if you can bring that attention to yourself, because sometimes that moon in Cancer or Cancer energy is like, I like to be needed. I'm going to nurture everybody else so that they need me. You don't need to do that. You can take care of yourself. You can show up here and nurture yourself, and then you'll be able to show up for others because you have tended to. You've tended to your castle, you've tended to your temple, and so it's ready to be inhabited. It's ready to be utilized, in service, in soul service. All right, so that moon into Cancer. I do want to mention, before the moon and Venus shift, they are actually connecting at 29 degrees. That just may bring an aha. It may not be like in that moment. It may be a little bit later where this sudden, I get it, and it's just this thing that clicks into place and brings a little bit of that healing balance to your yin energy that really allows her to get into this vulnerability. You may consciously realize it, but I feel like it's more of an unconscious thing that'll come later, and suddenly you're like, oh, I get this thing in a new way. I have one of those coming for you too with the cards. All right, so moon in Cancer. The moon in Cancer is trine Jupiter, 6 degrees. So here's that 6 energy, that balance again, balance in digging in, taking care of yourself, making sure that you've got that yang energy on backup, ready to stand up for you. Now that's interesting because, speaking of the yang energy, the moon in Cancer will square Mars in Libra at 10 degrees. So you may be feeling a little bit down on your yang energy. You maybe feel a little bit down on that part that's meant to protect you. This is an opportunity to build that up, to get to know, to remind. Gosh, this is so interesting. I see this and I'm like, oh, I see it in the cards. I have the, this is the Knight of Pentacles, slowing down card, and it's in reverse. And, that's how you might be looking at your yang energy. Like, where is the part of me that's ready to stand up? Like, it's one of those things, how, somebody will come at you and, you have nothing good to say to them. And then later, all of the retorts come forward. That may be how you're feeling about your yang energy. That's okay. You know what? Chances are when that happens, it's actually protecting you from saying something, one, that you don't really mean, and that could lead to deeper hurt and deeper wars happening, There's a reason for that. It's time to appreciate this slow-moving night, that slow-moving yang energy, and realize how, even if you feel like, it's just, I don't stand up for myself the way I want to, or feel I need to, there's still something there, and there's still something working for you, and maybe there's something to appreciate in and of this energy, and maybe that will help get you out of that square, out of that resistance, and into this appreciation, and let that strength grow, because when you're chipping away at something, it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. Well, it's not going to be good enough. When you start building something up, suddenly it's like, oh, the strength, the power, the glory in that. So maybe do take a little bit of that moon nurturing and nurture the worth of your Knight of Pentacles, the slow-moving knight, that young energy that maybe hasn't stood up the way you thought you needed it to, but maybe it was exactly what you actually did need. Nurture it, because You haven't been trusting it, but we have to. We have to trust ourselves. We have to trust our process. We have to trust what we're moving through. And we do have to pay. We have to. We have to honor this balance. And you have to realize, too, like, sometimes this slow-moving night gives way for the beautiful yin energy, like her beautiful creativity, her power, her work to come through in another way. So I hope this all makes sense. It makes sense in my head, but, you never know how it flows. Moon, trine Neptune, 11 degrees. Deep intuitive insights, ahas. I think this is working strongly with that Saturn trine Uranus energy that is working for us. Liberating some stuff. Lightning bolts out of the blue. Ahas will be on the download this week. So pay attention, but our intuition is going to be cueing into this. You may get like that gut punch, that gut kick that's like, oh, there's something that I know. Tune into that thing that you think that you know. Trust it. Trust that energy. Is there anything else I want to say? Let's see. I'm going to bring in the comparison card. I have the comparison card, and I think this goes for a few things. Comparing your vulnerability to other people's vulnerability. There are some people on the internet who will tell you everything about their lives. Are they being vulnerable? Sure. That doesn't necessarily have to be you, and just because you're not telling everybody everything on the internet doesn't mean that you're not vulnerable. So please do not compare your process and where you're at with anybody, and also don't compare your inner yang, how you stand up for yourself, how you protect yourself to anybody else's. You must be true to you, and you have to trust what's right for you and show up for you in a way that gives you wings, that makes you feel free. So really, don't get caught up in that comparison energy. Anything else from the cards? I have this, and initially when I saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, I get it, and this whole story came through, and then it went away. Be aware, clinging to the past, Moon in Cancer. As these old things come up, oh, this might be actually really good. Clinging to the past. As these things come up, there may be some past incidents, some past energies that come up. Now, you could go in there and be like, shoulda, coulda, woulda, or you can realize what the lesson is from this energy and move on. My feeling is that it's not about, like, getting in there and the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and really just instead, what is the lesson? What was the lesson that maybe I didn't grasp from this that's wanting to bring me and give me some power now? Now, I am so excited about this card. It is the Lightning card from Sacred Reading Power Cards. And I was like, wow, this is an interesting lightning card. Like, who's this on here? It is Isis. And Isis is so interesting. I actually have Isis. You can see her wings. This is one of her wings right behind me. She's on my altar. I'll post a picture of her on Instagram if you want to see her. But Isis energy, I've been thinking about her. And Isis, the story of Isis is that Osiris, her twin, her lover, her partner, her brother, was taken apart, killed by her other brother. And she went and she found all of those parts and put them back together again. Isis, the feminine in her, the yin in her was so strong, but the yang in her that enabled her to give her the strength to go on that mission and do that also was so strong. And I think she's a really good reminder to us as the feminine how we can bring forth that yang energy. And I love this card, Lightning, because Uranus energy is lightning energy, lightning of Aha. So I want to read this whole thing. A force to be reckoned with, the beautiful Egyptian goddess Isis brings love and awakening of spirit by breaking old chains and shattering outdated belief systems, releasing anything where we're clinging to the past. Isis opens your heart to receive true love and healing through empowerment and movement. You must shift old perceptions and evolve like the caterpillar. Anything that is outdated and no longer serving your needs or serving you needs to be shed now. This awakening is powerful and confronting. To shift stack karmic debris, subconscious patterns, and emotional DNA, you must crack your hard exterior with direct energy from source. Be vulnerable. This intense movement or moment may feel as if your heart is breaking. However, for you to achieve new levels of love, you must break concrete beliefs that have held you back. Address any surrounding grief and lows and loss with professional assistance. Breakthroughs are now possible. Isis is the gatekeeper of this love energy and requests the presence of your soul to accept this new integration. This expansion of your heart will intensify how you feel and share love with others. Adjusting to a new level of love, you will connect more deeply with others and see their heart in all its beauty. Right now, you must take action. You must push forward with passion. Open yourself to new ideas and meaningful conversations. Get out there and meet people. Social activities are a highlight now. A new person is about to enter your life on a soul level. Unexpected arrivals create warmth and compassion as you learn to accept differences with appreciation, love, and tolerance. Old ideals and loyalties will be challenged as you break away from emotional and physical restrictions. Do what you love with purpose. Do what you love with purpose. Yes, life is worth living. True, long-lasting soul growth creates universal expansions that go far beyond our earthly limits. The affirmation is, I am ready to take action now. The power of love sets my soul free as I grow with gratitude. I love this card. I love this card for like Venus and Scorpio, letting that be the presiding energy over Venus and Scorpio. It's so powerful. And it's really funny, as I pulled it and it made me go grab this. So I had a client friend make this for me a few years ago. It's a piece of art and it says, I am a lightning strike of universal love. And I think we can remember that as we move through the vulnerability and the intensity and the power that comes with Venus and Scorpio. And yes, I do know all of that it can bring. It's very strong in my chart. We have this power, this Isis power, this power of renewal and alchemy within us. And we can seize it when we get deep in touch with our feminine, with that yin energy. And even more so when we allow that inner yang to have our back. So it's just important though to like actually notice that balance and get in touch with it, because when we go along, society is not in balance. It's very out of balance, and we tend to end up in society's balance rather than our own personal balance. So to finish up the last card, because Mercury in Sagittarius and we want to uplift our thoughts and keep them lifting up, energy flows where my intention goes. Well, my intention is all about balance and knowing that my power is resonant from that balanced perspective. The balanced perspective of knowing my yang, however slow, has my back, and that I do have power in my yin to stand up and go on this ultimate, beautiful renewal mission. All right, so that is it for today. There is enough love in the world for you. The better it gets, the better it gets. Book a reading if you want to dive deeper into your personal chart, and I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.